Hello everyone, welcome back to the LewisFilms podcast, episode 2, here with you today. I can't believe the podcast has actually reached an episode 2 for once. Usually we just sack this thing off after like one episode, but we're actually here, we're doing it, which is great.
It's usually today, a members only video too.
Yeah, it usually is a members only video. But I'm glad that one doesn't exist anymore, let's just put it that way. It was a disaster of a video.
God, no.
Yeah, no, it was awful. But today we have a very special guest with us, a fellow YouTuber, fellow content creator, and Spider-Man and Marvel fan, story specialist. He does his own fan fictions as well. It is Mr. Zach Knight. Welcome to the podcast. How are you, man?
Thanks for having me. It's an honor. I'm doing good. Yeah. I understand you with that cancel after one episode thing. I think I've done like 20 different like series, which have only lasted like 2 videos. So
yep.
I get you there.
I think we all sort of know the feeling, don't we?
Yeah, 100%.
Like
you get so excited to do it, and then you do the first one, and you're like, you know what? I don't like it that much. And then you just move on.
Yep. The motivation dies. It's like, oh, I really like the ending
Absolutely.
of this thing. You see the end in sight, and then you get to episode 2, and you're like, I really don't want to do these middle episodes, and then you just die, and the whole thing gets cancelled. So yeah. But anyway, let's jump straight into it. So, maybe if you guys haven't seen Zach Knight's videos before, well, Zach, I mean, why don't you explain sort of what you do, like what type of videos you make, like kind of where you come from, your YouTube background and everything, just so everyone can sort of get a picture of who you are and what videos you make.
Mm-hmm. So when I started, I kind of was like just testing the waters, seeing what worked. I kind of tried lots of different things, you know, like rankings, reviews, pitches, all that kind of stuff. And I found that pitches is really like what I lean towards the most. So that's kind of what I do the most nowadays. I mean, what really like got me started was this last summer. I started the DCCU, which was it was like a collaboration project between a bunch of different YouTubers where each person kind of pitched their own DC project in one giant DC cinematic universe. That ended up not going past the first video, which didn't end how I wanted it to, but it is the reason that I've kind of like gotten my start. So now my main thing is the Marvel Beyondverse, which is in-depth pitches, one video at a time, which go over, you know, each movie in my ideal Marvel Cinematic Universe. Right now, I'm kind of reworking it, trying to make it a little bit better, because I'm not super proud of where it's been so far, but I'm excited about that, and that's going to be my kind of main project going forwards.
I love that. Yeah, that's amazing, because I think just having a platform to be able to get ideas like yours out there is amazing, because I feel like sometimes, especially coming into Marvel Phase 4, and I'm sure you guys have thoughts about this as well, but like the sort of disconnect in the universe from where it was in Phase 3, I think has made a lot of people sort of go, hey, I should do this. This is a really cool idea, but let's do it differently. And I think a lot of people have sort of... Did your idea of maybe doing your own cinematic universe or sort of come from that, or was it just something you always wanted to do?
Well, I mean, I've been like planning like a bunch of different stories involving, you know, Marvel and DC characters for as long as I can remember. I've always had like, you know, ideas of what I would want to do if I was in charge of a Marvel universe. But I mean, there's definitely been a large growth of videos like this lately. So I just thought, you know, I would throw my hat in the ring, test my ideas, throw them out there, and just, you know, go for it now.
Yeah, and I think it definitely shows, because your channel
You're doing a great job.
Yeah,
like absolutely fantastic. I found you with the Multiverse Saga Done Right video.
I think that's my most popular video. Yeah.
Yeah, that's where I found you, and immediately when I finished it, I sent it to like 5 different people.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm actually
you understood what was wrong with it, and like you actually fixed it.
It's funny you say that, because like that video, I look back at that and I'm like, yeah, I wish I could have done this better, you know? I feel like that with all of my videos, pretty much. Like, you know, I make a video and then the next day I'm like, this wasn't really how I wanted it to be. I kind of got some better ideas for this one. And, you know, it's just like my ideas are constantly changing. So I look back at those old videos and I'm like, I don't know if that's really what I want to be like, what I want people to think my vision is, you know? But I'm glad you liked it. I'm really glad that you liked it.
Yeah, that's the curse of being a YouTuber, dude.
Exactly.
Yeah, every single video you make, within a month, you hate it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just how it is, and I actually really respect that mentality because I know a lot of people, myself and Ray included, as we just mentioned, like feel the same way. But you sound very sort of like perfectionist about your videos, which is great. But do you have like a video that if you were to show someone now, if someone goes, "Hey, there's one video that you got to show me to say what you're all about," and you know, to show me what you got, essentially, right? What video are you showing them? Which one are you going, "Hey, this one, I'm really proud of this one." Which one would it be? Probably.
It's a great question. Honestly, even though I was just talking about this like not ending up how I wanted it to, it would probably be the DCCU collab because I feel like that's just like what I want to end up like, what I want my um what I want my channel to end up being. I want it to be like a part of a bigger community. And that was just like I was really proud of like the other stories that other people told. I think I was pretty proud of my Justice League pitch in that video. So it would probably be that one.
No, that's amazing. So you're very big on like sort of getting the community together to do sort of
Absolutely,
collaborations,
yeah.
and
That's awesome.
that's awesome. Yeah, because I feel like there is a bit of a disconnect sometimes potentially, between fans, especially Spider-Man fans. I think we all know that there's that one meme. No one
Yeah.
hates Spider-Man more than Spider-Man
More than
fans.
Spider-Man fans. Absolutely,
Yeah.
yeah.
So that's a really nice thing to hear, and I'm sure people watching this or listening to this will be glad that like there's YouTubers like yourself out there that really want to push that sort of community aspect. That's yeah, that's awesome. But I guess let's move on to current events then, shall we? Let's just get straight into it, the nitty gritty stuff. What are your thoughts on this whole Spider-Man 4 situation with the multiverse, Null, Venom? Since you're a writer yourself, you've written pictures for the college trilogy. Like, with everything coming off the back of Venom 3, me and Ray have had conversations ourselves about this. Like
Very long conversation.
a very long conversations. What are your thoughts on the whole sort of multiverse Spider-Man 4 thing? Is it a good idea? Is it not? Like, what are just your general thoughts?
I was just hoping for the Daredevil team up. That was really all I was hoping for. I mean, with like the Echo post-credit scene with Kingpin running for mayor, it was just everything was lining up perfect for Devil's Reign, you know? And then just the rumors with like Null and stuff. I mean, I get where some people are coming from. You know, it's the multiverse saga. This is Peter's last chance to have like that movie with like Toby and Andrew, but like we've already seen that with No Way Home. Like I think I would personally rather have that street level. And what I want most is even more than Kingpin. I just want Scorpion to be the main villain of a Spider-Man movie.
Preach.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like Scorpion is my third favorite Spider-Man villain. I know that's probably like not really kind of unorthodox, but like I love Scorpion so much. He's been set up since Homecoming. Um, it's just such a missed opportunity that he hasn't been used yet, and it's just like Null as just you use him in a Spider-Man movie and then he's done. That's also just like a waste. I just don't think all those rumors are like, I don't know. I think it's typical Sony cash grab stuff, and it's hard. It's hard as a Spider-Man fan, but I mean, I'm gonna end up watching it no matter what. So at the end of the day, they're getting my money. So I mean, it's gonna work. But I would rather see the street level. Yeah.
I love the fact that you said Scorpion is your third favorite villain, because that's my third favorite villain as well. Scorpion is so underrated, and I need
I know.
him in
Tell me
Spider-Man
about it.
4.
No, he is. He's a really good villain. I've personally not my top 5, but like for the MCU
Boo.
specifically. Sorry, I know. I know you love Scorpion Ray, and it's good to see him get the love. To be fair, and it's kind of criminal, really, when you think about it. After Homecoming, they didn't use him straight away in Far From Home.
Mhm.
Like, there was such a missed opportunity, and like there's this whole thing about Spider-Man in the MCU not having Spider-Man villains, right?
Yeah.
Like, they're all Tony Stark related. They come off the back of things that have happened with Tony Stark in the MCU. The perfect opportunity was Scorpion in Far From Home, and they fumbled the bag. So yeah, I just hope he does get his time in Spider-Man 4.
They
I
said
mean, I
about
think
that.
it'll likely be Spider-Man 5. I think what they're going to end up doing is, they make that multiverse movie with Spider-Man 4, and then hopefully those like rumors, like the Devil's Reign stuff, is what they do with Spider-Man 5. So I'm still hanging on to that. I still think there's a chance, but it looks like 4 will be multiversal, unfortunately.
I'm just hoping a middle ground, like where it's like
Same.
some multiversal stuff. Like I don't mind Doctor Doom being in it. I guess I don't want it, but I don't mind it as long as it's street level. Because Doctor Doom is one of those villains that like can fit anywhere, and I don't think Null's gonna be in it at all. I
I
think
at
it's just
this
like
point, yeah, I don't think he will either.
yeah, after
With how
Venom
Venom
3, I don't think so.
ended up, yeah.
Yeah,
Do you think
but Doom,
potentially?
yeah.
Oh yeah, go on.
No, I was gonna say Doom is one of those characters that can fit in any corner of the Marvel universe. Like he
hmm
could be multiverse, he could be magic, he could be street level, like he can be anything. And so better than
I
Null.
think at this point, there's like no way they can avoid it with it releasing right after Doomsday. It's like it's inevitable, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it almost feels like now that they've cast RDJ as Doom, they're sort of it's sort of it's which okay. First of all, actually, yeah. What is your opinion on the RDJ as Doom? Just quickly, because this is
Okay,
it's controversial. This.
okay, I might get hate for this, but I'm a defender of RDJ as Doom. Obviously, I would have rather had like somebody else. I'm not gonna say like Giancarlo Esposito or like Cillian Murphy, um, because I think it should have just been like some. I think at the end of the day, it probably should have been an unknown, but that wouldn't have worked because like you're you're changing. It's a big mix up, right? You're going from Kang. You got all this bad stuff happen. You need to rework all this stuff. Find something to make audiences care again. I think just like finding some unknown wouldn't have really like added that big hype level that RDJ coming back did. So I think that it is the right choice at the end of the day because like I mean, it is poetic because like the main hero of the first saga is the main villain of the second, and like seeing all those characters just like interact with him, I'm so excited to see that. Just like how they see him, like Tony Stark having to fight him, especially Spider-Man, which is like I understand those people saying Doctor Doom is supposed to be a Reed Richards villain, not a Spider-Man villain, which I completely agree with. If they make him more of a Spider-Man villain, that'll be really dumb. I really don't want them to do that, but I'm excited for it. I'm okay with it. But yeah, obviously I don't think that Robert Downey Jr. is the best actor to play Doctor Doom, but I'm still a defender of the choice.
At least he's a good actor.
Yeah.
That's true.
I do
Yeah.
agree. It's not as bad. Like it opens up story potential, and I'm under the belief that he's not going to be the MCU Doctor Doom. Like he's going to be
No.
the Fantastic Four's universe Doctor Doom, and it's an interesting thing. Uh, I'm more scared about the part that it's that involves Spider Man because I don't know what do you think? I personally think that Spider Man should be kept far from the Avengers, like a main character in the Avengers movies as
Mhm.
possible. And Doctor Doom being RDJ kind of puts that as a possibility of him being the Tony Stark of these two Avengers movies. And I don't know, what do you think? Where do you think Spider Man should be? Do you think he should be street level? Should he be an Avengers level character?
I've never liked Spider-Man being an Avengers level character. Like when people say that for like the Avengers Doomsday, the new Avengers lineup, they want Spider-Man leading the team. That's never just sat right with me because I've always just seen Spider-Man more as a separate street level character. He's never really been like in Avenger, but obviously I still want him to like work with them like in the team up movies, but just I don't think he should ever be part of the actual lineup itself.
Preach.
Yeah, I think a lot of people would agree with you on that. But that's interesting though as well because we've had those rumors that they are lining up Tom Holland to be the lead in Kang Dynasty, which obviously take with a
Doomsday.
grain of salt. Not
Doomsday, yeah.
Doomsday. Sorry, I'm living like 2 years ago. Doomsday. Sorry, yeah. They are lining him up to be the lead in Doomsday, which take it with a grain of salt. Obviously, that might not be true. Probably isn't, and I hope it isn't. But when they casted RDJ as Doctor Doom, you kind of a part of you goes, "Oh no, are they really doing this?" Because they wouldn't cast RDJ as Doctor Doom for no reason. Like I like the explanation, Zach, that you mentioned about he brings that hype factor, and I completely agree with that. But you could have gotten that from a variety of other big name actors, but the fact that it's RDJ specifically tells me it might have something to do with Peter Parker, which really doesn't churn well in my stomach.
Right. The idea I had was what I thought they were going to do was in the comics with the molecule men and stuff, with them being like multiversal bombs and stuff. I think that's kind of like what they're doing with anchor beings. When they die, the universe starts to end. So I think anchor beings are their like version of the molecule men. And what my thought was that Peter Parker was going to be the anchor being of 616, and that Doctor Doom, his plan would be going after all the anchor beings, and then in Doomsday, it would be about, Doctor Doom going after Peter Parker and the Avengers trying to protect him, which I don't know how I feel about that idea, but I think I would rather that be the case than him like being the leader of the Avengers. So I think that, he can be the lead of the movie, he can be the protagonist without like leading the Avengers. I think there's more ways to fit that in. But at the same time, yeah, I would just rather see that Reed and Doom dynamic more than the Peter and Doom dynamic,
Yeah, that's really
100%.
interesting, actually, that you mention that could be the potential story, because I think that would actually work in all of these different scenarios where we have Peter becoming the leader of the Avengers, or Peter leading this movie when he really shouldn't be. I think that would be one of the scenarios where this could work. So that's really interesting. I hadn't thought of that. I don't know if you did, Ray, but that's a really interesting idea.
Now I'm thinking about it. I'm like, what other character could be the main character of the Avengers movies? Because like nobody else has been as built up as Spider-Man, so it looks likely that that's going to be the case. He's the anchor being and all that.
Yeah, no, I really thought that coming into Doomsday it would have been Reed Richards, Pedro Pascal, just because when you go with Doctor Doom, you go Reed Richards, as we mentioned.
Exactly.
So my thought process is, okay, well, Reed Richards will be the Tony Stark of the next two Avengers movies. But then they cast RDJ. So, yeah, I don't know. It's an interesting one, isn't it? It's an interesting one. But moving back to Spider-Man 4.
I got a question.
Oh, sorry, yeah?
I got a question about Spider-Man 4 real quick. Or any of the future Spider-Man appearances. Where do you want him to get the symbiote? Because some people say Spider-Man 4. I think it should be Secret Wars.
It should 100% be Secret Wars.
Thank you.
It shouldn't be Spider-Man
We're
4.
right there.
Yeah.
We're right there. It's
Yeah.
perfect.
Yeah, it should be, shouldn't it, really? I mean, the opportunity to do it is right in front of us. And I swear to God,
It's
like,
perfect.
It's perfect, but if Sony has anything to say about it, they'll do some wacky things, and
He gets bit by a radioactive, like, he gets bit by a radioactive venom, and that, like, gives him the symbiote, and then, like, all kinds of crazy. Yeah, it's Sony is, like, it's not even, like, enough to make me mad at this point. It's just tiring, It's, like, at this point, I just don't care.
It's a comedy.
Like, I already know they're going to screw things up.
Have you seen Venom 3, by the way?
I had it. Okay, I wasn't going to see it, and then until I heard all the null rumors and things like that, and then so I got a ticket just to see like if anything would happen at the end, and then I think I had like I don't even know what I had that day, but there was something else that I could have gone to, and I was just like, I don't really want to watch this. So then I just like I didn't go, and then I just watched. It was like uploaded to YouTube or something, like the full movie, and it was like in quality too. So I just like watched it on YouTube, but I didn't even watch the full thing. I just like skipped around to some parts. Like I watched the part where like Memories by Maroon 5 played, and it was, yeah, it just didn't look like something I would enjoy.
The best part of the whole movie, by the way, that montage was great.
It didn't feel. I'm gonna be. I just watched that and I was like, "There's no way this is a real movie. This does not feel real."
It is. It's very much real.
The movie is like
very much one of those movies where you just die and just your corpse is watching the movie and then it's having fun. That's it.
Yeah, pretty much. It's literally just a movie. You go sit, turn your brain off, enjoy Tom Hardy as Venom and Eddie Brock, and don't think about anything else at all.
Anything. Don't think about the dialogue. Don't think about how this doesn't even make sense. Just watch and Tom Hardy. That's it.
Yep, they
Yeah.
retconned the MCU as well with the Venom bit, and like they
Is
retconned
it
that.
like the thing from the trailer with
Yeah.
like him like that's like it's the same piece of Venom that gets picked up?
Well, no, he left 2 of them behind. Spoiler alert, by the way.
Oh, he
He
left
I'm not
two?
gonna watch it. I don't care.
Yeah, he left 2. No, because he left the one in the MCU, and then the thing that got retcon is how he goes back. Because in No Way Home, he goes back through Doctor Strange's thingy, his spell, and then in the movie he goes back because of symbiote portal thingy.
Oh,
But he leaves 2 of them behind.
he leaves 2 of them. Okay. Okay, I didn't even realize. I just thought they retconned it. Bloody hell,
No,
Sony's a mess.
he leaves 2.
Yeah, Sony is an absolute mess. But staying on Spider-Man 4, there's a lot we got. The Spider-Man 4 is just a big topic of conversation. But when it comes to, I really wanted to hear your thoughts on this because I think everyone has a different opinion. It actually came out today, interestingly enough, that what's her name? Sorry, I did not come prepared with her. Oh, there we go. Madeline Klein, right? Madeline Klein is rumored to be in Spider-Man 4. As a supporting character along with Tom Holland and Zendaya.
Okay, I didn't hear that. That's new to me.
This is a new rumor. It's she's the actress from Outer Banks. She was
Outer
in,
Banks, yeah.
She was she played that girl in the Knives Out sequel. I forget the
Glass
character
Onion,
name.
yeah.
Glass Onion, yeah. And there's rumors that there's rumors that she's going to be in it. There isn't any rumors to what character she'll play, but
It can be inferred though.
it can be inferred obviously by like the actress's looks and that. People are saying Gwen Stacy. People are saying Felicia Hardy. Some people are even saying Carly Cooper. Like, what are your thoughts on who you would do? Who would you put in this movie? Like, what is the best sort of side character that's not MJ for Peter's sort of arc story in this movie? Is Black Cat the best option? Would you even try to retread Gwen Stacy? Would you do someone completely fresh like Carly Cooper? Like, what's your take on that?
Well, first of all, I just think, not even saying anything to like Madeline Klein as an actress, but I just think that that's good news just because like we're getting, new supporting casts instead of just like we're getting hints to like him having like being on Earth and having like new college friends other than just like, oh, he's on Battle World and he's fighting aliens and stuff. So I think that's immediately like kind of a good sign. Now on to who she could be playing. I would want it to be Black Cat just because I feel like Black Cat is the best option for a new side character. He's trying to be more Spider-Man than Peter Parker. Now the Peter Parker persona doesn't really exist anymore. So, him going off as Spider-Man all the time, meeting this like figure who's kind of like a bad influence on him, I feel like that would be the best story option. Also, I would just say that because I really don't want Sydney Sweeney to be Black Cat. I think that's a really bad casting. I'm not a fan of that casting at all. So I would be more fond of Madeline Klein playing her. That's just me though.
Yeah, Sydney Sweeney is doing the rounds as the Black Cat fan casting. The thing is though, I would not be surprised in any sense of the word if she was actually cast, because I feel like she's getting to that point in her career where I feel like studios want her for the pull that she has on films. Not gonna.
Would she even work?
No, probably not. I'm not gonna comment any further on that, but I'm just saying, like we've seen
like.
we know, okay. She makes a lot of money. Let's just put it that way. So
yeah, would she even want to work for Sony though after Madam Web?
That's true,
Sony
actually.
did Madam
Yeah.
Web to get her movie greenlit, the comedy one. So
yeah.
I didn't hear about that.
Yeah, she did.
The comedy rom-com. She only did it was either the comedy rom-com or the horror movie she did. I don't remember which one, but she did one of those so that she can get funding. So she did Madam Web so she can get funding for that movie.
Yeah.
The other movie.
Yeah, which is interesting, but
yeah.
Sydney Sweeney got Sony wrapped around her finger. Let's just put it like that. But yeah, I mean, Spider-Man 4 is just going to be, I don't know, it could either turn out to be a mess or it could be great. Who knows? But I think it's interesting you mentioned Devil's Reign, though. That could be a cool story. And obviously, we'd love to have Matt Murdock appear in the movie. Speaking of Matt Murdock, though, let's talk about Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. what are your thoughts on this show?
That-
I thought you were
threw
gonna
me
lean
off.
into the other thing.
What?
Yeah. I thought you were gonna talk about
There's a
Daredevil Born
rumor.
Again.
Oh no,
There's a
sorry.
rumor going in. There's a rumor going around that Marvel really wants Tom Holland in Born Again.
Yes.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah,
What is that going to be though? Is that just a cameo or is it something a little
probably
more?
a cameo. Like, since everybody wants to see Daredevil and Spider-Man together, probably a cameo. But you know,
Yeah, I heard a detail that it was going to be related to showing how street level heroes other than Daredevil are being affected by Kingpin and his sort of rise to the top. Which I think is interesting, but I think if you're going to do that, I go full in.
Yeah.
Like,
That's honestly, that news is kind of disappointing to me because it's just like, yeah, he gets this one cameo and that's all you get. Never gonna see each other again. No Devil's Reign stuff. That's what we're giving to you, which probably isn't gonna be the case, but just like that's kind of how it came off to me.
yeah, it's just like if it's going to be this is why I'm confused if it's just a cameo or not, because surely you get this opportunity and you make it more of a, maybe a 1 or 2 episode thing. You don't do it just a cameo. Like, that this is why everyone wants.
post-credit.
Yeah, it could be a post credit, but this is why everyone wants Daredevil in Spider-Man 4, right? Because there's more story to add there. So, but it's interesting nonetheless with Born Again. Are you guys excited for Born Again?
I am.
Absolutely.
I'm really excited for Born Again, but here's a really hot take. I'm more excited for Wonder Man than I am for Born Again.
Hey,
Because
yo.
Wonder Man is my he's my 3rd favorite Marvel hero after Spider-Man's of course #1 and then Johnny Storm's #2. He's the second. I just really love Wonder Man. He's super underrated. I'm super excited for Daredevil. Don't get me wrong, but it's just like we've seen 3 seasons of the show, and we've never seen Wonder Man adapted other than like in Earth's Mightiest Heroes where he was only like a villain, and then in that one really bad Avengers cartoon. So like I'm super hyped for that show.
Fair.
That's really interesting. I don't know anything about Wonder Man at all. So
No, I don't know anything about Wonder Man, so
He's so cool.
Ethan keeps wanting me to make a Wonder Man thing, and I'm just like, no, I don't know anything about him.
no, but that's really interesting though. Like, I rate that. That's really cool. But yeah, I mean, moving back to Spider-Man real quick. Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man has Daredevil in it, of course. Has a lot of Marvel characters in it. Doesn't have Wonder Man as far as we know. Could do maybe, who knows, with the amount of characters they're adding into it. But what are your general thoughts on Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man? You excited, or is it something you won't watch potentially?
I'm gonna watch it. I'm excited. I think the animation style is a little bit. It's not really what I wanted it to be. I think those like first images looked more promising than what the animation style ended up being. But I'm still excited. It's new Spider-Man stuff. I'll always watch new Spider-Man stuff. So yeah, I'm hyped.
It's harder and harder to defend that animation style. That new image that came out today, my God.
I didn't see that, but
He's like on a bus and he's swinging, and the bus looks like it's stock footage, and then he just looks out of place. It's just not.
the city looks from the stuff we've seen, like the footage. The city just looks so empty too. Like there's nobody there. It's just like off-putting.
Mhm.
But we'll see.
Yeah, I'm waiting. I'm waiting to sort of touch on it until the first episode comes out, or at least we get like a trailer, like a proper trailer with real footage and hopefully stuff that we can judge it off. But yeah, it doesn't look as good visually maybe as other Spider-Man shows, but I think I'm kind of just more excited for the story. I'm really excited to see how they handle that Peter and Norman relationship, because that's something that, when you really think about it, apart from maybe Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 1, we haven't really seen in an adaptation before.
Yeah, it's really interesting you say that actually, because my next big project, my Spider-Man thing for the Beyondverse, which is like my biggest and like most anticipated video that I've ever worked on. That's kind of what I'm going for, that Peter and Norman mentorship relationship. I think it's super interesting, a super cool thing to explore that I wish we could have seen more of in other adaptations. So yeah, I'm down for that.
Yeah, 100%. it's. I mean, Ray, you've had experience with doing that sort of thing with your Spider-Man show on SI. Are you excited for Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man and the Norman and Peter story, or are they going to fumble the bag?
I'm suing because what they're doing is exactly what I did. I'm suing. Like even the way he looks, I'm suing. But no, I'm excited for that. I don't know. It's Spider-Man. It could look like, I don't know, like stick figures, and I'll still watch it. Like,
yeah. The stories. I think the story's going to be on point, which I think is what a lot of people.
It's different.
Yeah, it's different. I mean, we've got Nico Manuro in there and everything as well. Amadeus Cho.
And the spider is multiversal.
So yeah, I mean, Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. I'm just more focused, sort of, on the story. If they nail the story down with Peter and Norman and everything going on there with all these different characters, I'm interested to see what they do with these other Marvel characters. And Zach, you've worked, obviously, you said with the Beyondverse, where you've taken your own sort of ideas for a Marvel universe and integrated them. How do you feel coming at it from that angle? Disney putting in characters like Nico Manuro, Amadeus Cho, maybe characters that people don't really know yet and aren't as popular as Iron Man, Captain America, etc., into this show and possibly integrating them integrally to Peter Parker's story.
It's definitely interesting because, like, I feel like that's something that should definitely be done with the character of Spider-Man. Like, they tried doing it with the Ultimate Spider-Man show with like all the other Marvel characters, but that wasn't really executed the best. So I'm hoping they can do this a little bit better with like Peter interacting with the wider Marvel universe, which is something I really enjoy as a Spider-Man fan.
We need that F4 crossover.
We do.
Fantastic
Absolutely.
Four crossover. That everybody wants Daredevil. I want the Fantastic Four to crossover first.
So do I.
Yeah.
Johnny Storm and Peter hanging out.
Yeah. Do you think we'll get that in the MCU at some point?
Please
if we don't, that'll be a huge missed opportunity.
Absolutely. Yeah. Especially since the actors seem that they could have chemistry.
Yeah. Who's playing Johnny Storm? Is it Barry Keoghan?
Joseph Quinn.
Joseph Quinn. Who's Barry Keoghan? Is Barry Keoghan in F4? Have I just put
He
that
plays Druig. He plays Druig in the Eternals.
Oh, right. Well, I don't know why I thought it was Barry Keoghan. I don't know why I thought it was Barry Keoghan. I don't know where I've got that from.
Am I getting it right? Is that Joker?
Yeah, it is Joker, yeah.
That is Joker, yeah. I must have been thinking about Joker. But no, it's one of them ones where I feel the same way about Black Cat. Like, I know we had Felicity Jones in TASM 2, but I think it's kind of criminal we've never gotten Black Cat like in live action, like just in a Spider-Man movie as a supporting character, let alone somehow Sony haven't made her into a solo movie after all of the other god-awful movies they've tried to make. Like, how has Black Cat not had a shot at that? I don't get it. It makes no sense to me. How is Black Cat not on the big screen yet? It just doesn't make sense. But yeah,
An El Muerto movie was announced before.
I know how. And Hypno Hustler. Who are these people? Like, where's the Black Cat movie, man? I want Black Cat movie. But no,
crazy because one of the only characters that could have a solo movie is Black Cat, and they just haven't done it. They did Venom, who is another character that could have a solo movie. It's not probably the best, but he can. But I think Black Cat just doesn't.
I think it has to be like. I think it just has to be a joke at this point. Like, there's no genuine way. They greenlit a Hypno Hustler, an El Muerto movie, a character who's only appeared in like 2 issues, I think. There's genuinely no way they like thought that would be a good idea. I just haven't. I have no idea what's going on.
Yeah.
It has to be. It has to be money laundering at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there's that joke, isn't there, that Sony are making these movies that they greenlit El Muerto because they're trying to hang on to the Spider-Man rights from Disney. They're greenlighting absolutely anything they can.
I mean, that's probably there's probably some truth to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's absolutely crazy. But a part of me is just like, I mean, Ray, you said like Black Cat's one of those characters. She could genuinely have a solo movie. There's enough content there, and especially if we go from the origin story that they gave to her in the I think it was a little bit after she was introduced. I think it might have been the 80s, but they did some really good stories with her that can definitely be adapted into a live action movie. So I'm just amazed. But Anyway, yeah. So we've discussed pretty much like what you'd like to see and characters you'd like to see in the movies and how you'd like the movies to play out. But we were wondering, do you think the most important quality to a Spider-Man story overall? We're getting quite deep now, so bringing out the philosophical questions.
That's a good question. It kind of depends on because when you say that, I think of two sides to that. I think of, big Spider-Man movies, and then I think of just like fans like me telling Spider-Man stories. So, so when you say that, I think there's like so many Spider-Man pitches out there on YouTube. There's so many Spider-Man pitches, Spider-Man fan films. There's like endless Spider-Man stories, and people are always saying like, they're gonna run out of Spider-Man stories to tell. You can't. People are gonna get sick of this eventually. But I think that that's not really gonna happen because the great thing with Spider-Man is he's so rooted in like relatability and like connecting with people. I feel like each Spider-Man story, each Spider-Man pitch is like it's almost autobiographical, It's like this person is telling a story about Spider-Man, but in a way that connects it to their own life. So it's like it's that's how like I am with like some of the Spider-Man stories I tell or I'm gonna tell. It's like it's almost a way of like writing Spider-Man stories is almost like therapy, Same way with reading them and watching like movies. So I feel like and then on the big screen, just like finding a way for Spider-Man to like connect with the fandom and not just being like, look at this guy, look at what he can do. It's so cool. Look at all the explosions and stuff. Just finding a way to like connect with the audience is the most important thing you can do with a Spider-Man movie. And the most important thing you can do with a Spider-Man story that you're telling is find a way to connect it to yourself, So that's just how I feel personally.
Amen.
Yeah, amen. That was beautiful.
Yeah.
So, I mean, leading on from that, very interestingly, you say that because do you reckon that's why, we said at the start of the pod that, no one hates Spider-Man more than Spider-Man fans. But do you think the reason for that divide in the fandom, more than most other fandoms, except Star Wars, is because maybe whenever we tell these Spider-Man stories, whether it's the big ones like whether it's Sam Raimi doing it or Mark Webb or John Watts, or whether it's us three, it's a projection of who we are and it's a projection of our lives. And Spider-Man's a really easy character to sort of tell those stories through. Do you reckon that's why there's such a divide? Because people relate to different aspects of the character. People are more drawn to different versions of the character. Like people are more drawn to Andrew, people are more drawn to Toby and Tom, etc. Do you reckon that's probably one of the main reasons why there's a massive divide?
100%. It's like imagine like you view yourself as Spider-Man and then you read somebody like telling a story about you and it's like, oh, your girl left you for some guy named Paul. It's like it's depressing, Nobody wants to see that. No one wants to read that. So it's like anytime somebody changes something, it's like they're changing something that you hold so dearly to yourself. It's just it's nobody wants to see, some character they've held so close, so personally, like be so drastically changed. So that's 100% a huge reason why.
Yeah, that's really interesting as well. I mean, there's that one guy out there that has had their girl leave them for a guy named
Yeah,
Paul,
for Paul.
and
Paul's
loves
a
the
real
Zeb Wells
person.
run. Yeah,
Probably, yeah.
I relate to the Zeb Wells run, guys. I love it. It's great. But no,
But I also think there's also because I don't think many of the readers would relate to like Ultimate Spider-Man, and I think that's still it's a wildly popular, like the new Ultimate Spider-Man is wildly popular, and I think it's not just life experiences; it's also like everyday struggles, like because he has struggles that I don't have. I don't have a family with two kids, but it's still he struggles and he still gets back up, and that's still very human. And I feel like that's just lost in Spider-Man stuff now. Like people want him to be Superman, basically, or
Mhm.
and the Zeb Wells one, they just want him to be beat up all the time. But you know, it's the personal struggles of him getting back up from his personal struggles, as opposed to, always getting beat up or always succeeding. That happens in Spider-Man comics now.
Yeah, it's interesting that you bring up Ultimate Spider-Man, the new run, because I feel like that's a big thing in the Spider-Man fandom. They want to see him grow up and like leave high school and things like that. The way I feel about that is I understand because like a big thing about Spider-Man is coming of age and like growing and stuff like that. And they've seen him just be young and act like a child for so long, they just want to see him grow up. But I feel like when you're making a new Spider-Man story, when you're making a new Spider-Man movie or stuff like that, starting him out in high school, it can be good as well because like you want to see him grow, you want to see him evolve, but you can't see him grow when you start him out already grown. So I feel like
100%.
starting him out in high school can also be like a good way of doing it because like you can tell that life story. You can tell like you see him start out like acting so childish, immature, not knowing how to handle this stuff, and then you can see him evolve over time. And then when he becomes that adult, when he becomes like that version that you see in Ultimate Spider-Man, it's so much more rewarding. It actually feels like you've watched this guy change, and that's what I would
100%.
personally like to see in a Spider-Man story. But yeah, that's how I feel.
My dream Spider-Man comic is Invincible, but Spider-Man, where he starts off from the start of him getting his powers to the end of, him having a family, all that. Like, that's my dream for a
Yeah.
Spider-Man story.
I think that's also why people love Ultimate Spider-Man so much, because a lot of people see Ultimate Spider-Man as a successor to pre One More Day 616. So
Yeah, that's why I love it so much. Ultimate Spider-Man,
Same.
I originally like I wasn't that excited for it because like I was more excited for the Spectacular Spider-Man run with like Greg Weisman and stuff like that. Now I find myself like just like counting down the days till the next Ultimate Spider-Man issue comes out. I love it so much. It's so good.
yeah.
I'm the same boat. I thought I'd like the Spider-Man more than Ultimate Spider-Man because I thought the
Mhm.
concept was kind of dumb. Like, why not just bring back old Ultimate Spider-Man and have him
Yeah.
older? And then I read issue 1 and I quickly shut up.
Yeah. No, it's definitely great and this is the thing that I've never got. Without delving too much into the territory, and in fact, no, let's do it. I mean, Nick Lowe has said, like, straight up that we are not going to be developing Peter Parker in the 616 universe to the heights of, for example, Ultimate Spider-Man. He is legit said this, and he said that they want to come back to the core of the character every time after something big happens. So he said we'll still tell stories like Superior Spider-Man, but at the end of the day, we're going to come back to the core of the character, which ultimately translates to we're going to keep having him being out on his luck, almost teenage spirit man pushing 30 who can't get a job to save his life and has rent that he can't afford and he can't keep a stable relationship. That's ultimately what Spider-Man is going to be in the 616 universe forever. But it's absolutely crazy, but I think it's kind of backwards when you ask me, because Ultimate Spider-Man has proved that whole concept wrong, and Ultimate Spider-Man has proved as well that people can still relate to the character even when they're not the same age as the character, because like you guys have just mentioned, like he has relatable struggles that people still see, and there's a lot more interesting stories you can tell with those struggles that don't have to be necessarily tied to his age or the fact that he's got 2 kids or the fact that he's married. You can still do other stuff. So that's personally why I love Ultimate Spider-Man, and I think a lot of people will relate to what you guys said as well.
I think what they're thinking is like each generation kind of like needs to have like that starting point. Like they see Peter as their age and then they watch him grow up and stuff like that, which is difficult with like Marvel Comics because obviously it's all one big continuity. It's not like DC where there's like a reboot every 2 years. So, but I feel like that's what like the cartoons and the movies are for. One generation has Toby, one generation has Spectacular Spider-Man or Tom Holland. So I feel like that's how you handle that. And then the mainline comics, that's not an adaptation. That is the character. So just seeing him evolve over like since the 1960s would have been so cool and so insane. And then having those offshoots like handle like him going back to basics or him being the Spider-Man of each generation is how they definitely should have handled it. But I mean, it's difficult to see just like him regressing all the time. It's not, as a
It's scary.
Spider-Man fan, it's just not rewarding at all.
It's scary for the adaptations as well, because like if this character just becomes a cycle of regression, because right now Tom Holland is clearly inspired by the Dan Slott Spider-Man,
Hmm.
like that's clear, and then Andrew was inspired by Ultimate and Raimi by 616, but it's scary because there's gonna come a generation where this is all they know, this cycle of regression, and whatever the movies and adaptations end up looking like is going to be just that, just a
Yep.
cycle of regression of, oh, Peter gets one place, oh, he loses his girl because of the devil.
No, please don't. I really hope we get to the point though where in the next 10 years, whether it is Tom Holland and maybe we're, another 3 movies down the line, or maybe it's another actor, that we get a Ultimate Spider-Man inspired movie. Similar how you said, Ray, to 616 with Toby, Ultimate Spider-Man Andrew, the Dan Slott run influencing a lot of I imagine the techie stuff and a lot of the modern Spider-Man stuff we know and love today. Hopefully Ultimate Spider-Man can have its time and can have its influence over maybe some of the stories going forward. If they did, I think it could come at a perfect time if Tom and the studios decide to continue after the college trilogy. I know we're thinking very far ahead in the future, but that would be interesting.
Yeah.
Do you think that would work?
Over,
I know,
I think it's gonna be a Miles trilogy after the college trilogy. Yeah.
Oh, in an ideal world, you'd have one more. I mean, it's definitely not going to happen. I don't even think Tom Holland would want to do it, but I imagine.
I think he would be down to do it. But I think at the end of the day, they're gonna want to get that new young character in there with Miles. I think that's gonna end up happening.
You know what's crazy though? They keep regressing Peter when they literally have Miles right there.
Exactly.
They could do any young Spider-Man story they want with Miles, and they just keep doing Peter and regressing him and all that.
It's crazy as well. Like, I think I said this in a video a few months back. Like, the way to fix the 616 Spider-Man comics is literally have Peter take a back step and have Miles be not the Amazing Spider-Man, but like sort of a spin on like that title. Like, have him be the mainline Spider-Man of the 616 universe and have Peter just do the background stuff. But then there's more leeway on, okay, we don't have to hit this mandate for this audience, so we don't have to do this, we don't have to do that. We can actually progress the character in a way that writers want to, in the way that the fans would like to see it. And I guarantee those books would sell. They'd still be as popular, if not more popular, than the 616 books right now. So it's wild to me that they haven't done that.
Miles is going to reach a point where he's going to be as popular as Peter. Like, we're very close to that point.
100%.
So,
especially after the games and the Spider-Verse movies.
Yeah.
Which they're gonna. But just a closing thought then. I mean, speaking of Miles and the Spider-Verse movies, what are your opinions on them? Are you fans of them, or do you prefer sort of the live action stuff?
Oh, and I love the Spider-Verse movies. Yeah. Miles overall, I feel like I like him better in the Spider-Verse movies than I like him like in the comics. Like, that's my favorite version of the character. Yeah, I think those are amazing. Probably both of them are in my top 3 or top 5 Spider-Man movies.
Awesome. Yeah, same here. They are great. And I was sad when they delayed Beyond the Spider-Verse, but obviously they're taking their time with it, which is great to hear. But I'm really excited for Beyond the Spider-Verse as well.
Sony. They announced it before the movie was even worked on.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I love that though. I love the fact that Sony just being Sony, all over. It's great. But I think that's pretty much it. Everything we have to cover today. I mean, just one final question though. When it comes to YouTube and stuff, Zach, are you planning on doing anything beyond YouTube? Writing, maybe? We know you love your writing. Like, are you pursuing anything else other than YouTube, or are you just sticking to sort of YouTube right now?
Definitely. It's not my end goal in any way. YouTube has always just been like what I wanted my jumping on point to be. At the end of the day, I want to be like in the film industry. I want to actually be like making movies and like directing, writing, even acting. I want to be doing all that. So, I mean, I hope that like I can continue to grow and then eventually get to that point where I can, jump onto the the big stuff, but we'll see, I guess.
That's really awesome to hear. Any
Yeah.
final thoughts, Ray? Any final questions?
No, thank you for being here. This is awesome. I'm a big fan of your videos.
Thank you.
I remember when I saw you on Lewis's stream, I immediately messaged him. I was like, we need him on the podcast. And he was like, already on it. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's
Thank you. It means a lot. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you very much. Where can we find you on your socials?
You can find me at Zach Knight on YouTube, and that's my main one. That's pretty much it.
Love that. Thank you very much for watching, everyone. Yeah, love that. Zach Knight, I mean, it couldn't get any more simpler than that, which is absolutely awesome. Zach Knight on YouTube. I've been Lewis, my co-host Ray. Once again, thank you very much.
Hi.
I mean, I say once again. This is the first episode of the new series, so it's not once again, but yeah. Thanks for
second episode.
Yeah, it's that's what I'm saying. I mean, it's the first episode that we've done.
You
You weren't on the Mark Ritchie one. You weren't on the Mark Ritchie episode.
I was too scared.
But yeah, thank you for coming on, Ray. Where can we subscribe to you?
Slightly insulting. I'm
Lovely.
keeping it simple, just like Zach.
That's it. Love that. Thanks for watching, everyone. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Like the video. Comment down below any of your thoughts on the topics we discussed today. And I'll see you next time.